when I met Christian, she was about her, doing her, and she had goals, dreams, aspirations. She was in college. She was about her finances, getting things in order so she can accomplish whatever she had her mind to. And that was a good look. Like, she was content with doing her, and I was content doing me. And I was like, it wasn't no pressure. Like, oh, I gotta be with this girl or this guy. You know, it wasn't no pressure. It was just like we flowing and we encouraging each other. And just as friends, it wasn't even a relationship thing at the time. It was just like, you know, a great support to one another. And the great thing is that attracted me most about her was that she didn't need me, but I wanted her.
Being by myself, I didn't even need nobody to complete me, to make me happy. I went to the movies by myself, went shopping by myself, went to dinner by myself, because I didn't need no man to make me whole. I was complete before I even met him. And if there was anything lacking, I just went to God, and, you know, that's all I needed. I didn't need anybody.
But it came to a point where you had to really realize that.
Oh, yes. I had to get to that point, you know. Before I was, like, needy. Mm-hmm. And that's why I didn't need to be in a relationship.
What do you think is one of the triggers that made you feel like, I'm okay by myself?
One of the triggers?
One of those, was it a past relationship?
Oh, yes. My past relationships. I just felt like I couldn't be alone, and I would hop from one relationship to another one because I didn't want to be alone. I didn't know how it felt to be alone. So I was like, this is not a good feeling. I need to be able to be whole, be able to be by myself, be able to hear God. And when you're doing that, when you're hopping from relationship to relationship, you're really not hearing what God has for you because you're just so cluttered.
Caught up.
So that gave me the opportunity to hear him, and you know, he spoke to me, and he did some working on me, and that gave me the opportunity to become whole before I was able to, you know, be in a relationship with somebody else.
I agree. Before I met Christian, I was just coming out of some past relationships and bad friendships. I was under major construction. Like, God was really having heart surgery on me, and I was at a place where I was like building from the ground up, and I was cool on not even trying to be with nobody. I didn't want nobody to clutter my mind with any other distractions between me and building my relationship with God. I was so serious about that, and I started getting like super heavy involved in church, joining cathedral praise. My heart, like, God, you know, through those situations, I was in a place where I couldn't depend on nobody but God, and it was really us against the world, me and God, because everywhere I turn, where I look for family, where I look for friends, it just seemed like everybody was failing me.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was really trying to get my attention at that time. It was like, look, all you need is me. And so I really stopped trying to depend on my own understanding and my own thought processes and trying to control everything, and just really leaned on him and tried to really hear him and not try to focus on building relationships. Dating was not on my radar at all. I was like, I've been there, I'm done, I'm content by myself. And then after I got comfortable, like, into a place where I'm like, cool, like, I could do this, I can have, you know, some friendships, and because even then I didn't even want to get close to friends. I didn't want to build new relationship with friends because I felt like everybody kind of dog you out or whatever. And I just was cool by myself. But afterwards, after the rebuilding, I was able to open up and allow myself to be vulnerable and build new relationships, friendships, and still heavily try to get involved in church and extracurricular activities. I was had a new career, and I was getting things together for my house, and I got a new car. I was really trying to build. I was under major construction, and then all of a sudden, God brought my good thing. Yeah, and actually I wasn't even ready for it. I was like, are you serious? I don't know if I'm ready for this. But God knew. God knew I was ready. That's why He brought her at the time that He did. So, and I'm grateful, forever grateful.
Y'all, I get so happy talking about Christopher. Chris stood out. Oh my goodness. He had this amazing swag about himself, this funny sense of humor, and I loved his worship. Oh my goodness, his worship was for real, and he had a real relationship with God, and I love that, because I knew when times get hard in our family, he was going to pray us through. He was going to be that priest. He was going to have that word for us, and I just love that about him. He had dreams and goals and aspiration. He wasn't comfortable, with just being comfortable with the regular life. He had great expectations for his life and his family, and that just made me like crazy about him. I could talk about Mr. Bowman all day, y'all. I could talk about the man all day.
When Christian came along, it was unexpected. I had a lot of this, and I seen a lot of that, but it was nothing like Christian. And Christian honestly wasn't like my go-to or what I usually go after. But honestly, she was everything that I needed. The thing that wanted me to pursue Christian more than a friendship was that she was consistent. She was consistent. She was set apart. She wasn't trying to blend in or wasn't trying to be like the next female. She just was just different, and it was refreshing. It was something that, like I said, I never had before, and I wanted. And when I realized that, I was like, I can't let this woman pass me by and let this other dude snag up my blessing. Okay, that's not what was going to happen. So after I really started analyzing and trying to figure out man, am I even worthy of taking it up to another level? Is she gonna feel me on that wavelength? But she was feeling your boy. So where are we now? We are almost 8 years into marriage, happily married.
Happily.
We have 3 kids. Yes, we have 3 kids that are under the age of 5, and we're just trying to manage everything. We have professional careers. We have our own business. We're doing a lot, and we're also ministry leaders.
Yes, ministry leaders. You said careers, right? Homeowners.
Yeah, homeowners, trying to maintain a house and keep up all the upkeep it takes for that. And it's a lot to manage, but we can do all things through Christ.
All things.
You gotta get up there and do the alto right here.
Alto.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Woo, all altos. I feel like God had us go through certain situations to get us where we are now, to be the exact people where we are now, and He don't want us to stay here. He wants us to grow too, So I wouldn't change anything. I love it. I'm loving this journey with my husband, and this is just the beginning.
I personally wouldn't change anything either. Everything that we've gone through was for purpose. And we've learned so much, and had not those things happened in our lives, we wouldn't be the people, the man, woman, the husband, the wife, the father, the mother, we wouldn't be who we are today. And we're so grateful for every challenge and every, circumstance, because we've been able to overcome. And, it's tough, it's rough in the moment, but it's possible that you can do anything. You can overcome anything if you have a mindset, if you decide, if you choose to. Some people stay stagnant in where they are, or don't feel that they can, wherever their situation is, that's their end of all things, you know. But you're able to overcome anything through Christ. So, and that's our mission, that no matter what, you can do it. And we hope to be an encouragement and inspiration and be able to empower others to do the same. And we're determined not to have an ordinary marriage and be an ordinary husband and be an ordinary wife and have ordinary, normal, basic kids. That's not what we're about, and that's not what God wants for us or for you. He wants us to live extraordinary, supernatural lives, and have us living the abundant, best life. And we want to share our resources, and we want to hear from you. And in getting to that space and listening to the voice of God, and be able to, because of our obedience or because of your obedience, what has transpired or what you have overcome because of your obedience, and just wanting more out of life than what, you know, the world has to offer. You know, what reality shows what relationships look like, or family, you know, dynamic should be. We know that we are the first examples of marriage, of relationships, or how to respond to certain situations, life circumstances, in the eyes of our children. And we are determined to be the best parents and be the best examples as possible to our kids. You know, they see all these things, or, you know, people see all these things around the world of how to respond to certain situations that when life just happens, or you know, how to properly argue, or how to overcome, you know, financial distresses, or whatever. We're the first examples that they see when life happens. What do you do? And we want to be the best.
Right,
we are not we are not perfect by no means, and but we want to do better. We want to continue to lift the standard, raise the bar. We want to achieve more. We want them to be, not only do we want to be generational curse breakers, but we want to encourage them to do the same. Be world changers, change agents, and wherever that they go, across the world or abroad, wherever in their space, that they know that they can make an impact, and it's for the better. And that's what we hope for every marriage, every couple, every individual. If you're single, just have a better relationship with you and God, as this whole thing is God-centered. The reason why we are where we are is because of God. You know, we keep Him first priority. And as my grandma Edna Louise Nix always says, put the Lord first and all will fall into place.
Yes,
and we truly try to live by that all day, every day, and just putting Him first and allowing Him to just order our steps and be obedient to what He says, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's what we see doesn't make sense. God, we know that God is no respecter of person, and what He's done for us, He can do for you.
Our story is a testimony, and why keep it all to ourselves? Why keep the goodness of God to ourselves? We're here just to let the world know.
Yes.
Let them know. Let the world know that you can make it. You can make it, whether you're single, married, divorced. You can make it with God.